Okay, everybody, for those who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and it's Quest time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask all of you if you could stay off of this raised up platform here. This way nobody blocks the display. That includes the top of the speakers, the top of the display itself. But feel free to hang out on top of shrub here. Some people like to do that. Feel free to take selfies with him. You know, he kind of hangs out here and holds my tools and stuff. He hasn't given them up yet, but you're welcome to try. You know, you can't see the display as well either, but there are a lot of people who like to stand up there. So if you're one of them, feel free. Now, if I can direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you'll see a microphone icon at the very top of that. And if that microphone is clear, that means we can hear you and everything happening in your environment, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it to red. Okay, now that it's red, that means you're muted. So basically, if somebody comes into your space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" Feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear that. Or if you have a dog and it starts barking, you won't face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that started barking during quest time. Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't participate. You're going to notice that you have this pink cheek smiley face in your emoji panel, and or in your menu wheel, when you press it, your emoji panel opens up in the air in front of you, giving you a lot of options to express yourself. So, if I see something really moving up here and you're feeling it real deep and it starts building up, right? You can just let it out, let it flow, let it just flow on up there, and maybe it breaks the glass above me, right? Maybe some ninjas drop down behind me. Maybe that's really exciting. Maybe we break into Quest Time the musical, and you can throw up the applause and show how I live for, and show how impressed you are. If I ask a yes or no question, you can say yes by smiling. You can frown by saying no, and if I say something funny, you can do the tongue sticky out emoji to show that you're laughing. If something goes horribly wrong, you can raise their hand like this. This is not the same as asking a question. We will be taking questions at the end. But if you need to get my attention, you can go like this. If I only see one of them go up like that, I'm going to keep on going. And, but if I see 5 going up at one time, I know something's wrong that I need to address. Like suddenly you guys can't hear me. Or maybe this display here is bursting into flames. That actually happened once. My mods have a sense of humor. So they actually put fire on behind me, and I'm going, "Hey, everybody," I'm talking like this, and all of a sudden I saw this light flickering up the crowd. I'm like, "What is that?" And I turn around, and the display's on fire. All right, so that can happen. You can press the X in the middle of the emoji panel to close it, but it's a good idea to keep it open during events like this. Lets me know how I'm doing, gives me good feedback, but more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if, for example, the person next to you goes like this, well, that means they think something happening is funny, and you may not agree, and so you maybe go stand over here, which you can do because this is VR. Okay, now Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on another device, feel free to stick around. You might learn something that'll help out the growing Quest community. There's a lot of new Quest users in, especially lately. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be talking mainly about how to get the most out of the Quest in Altspace. So if you're wondering whether or not Vader's actually immortal, it's cool. We can talk about that stuff, but it's mainly going to be how these devices perform in Altspace. And so we're gonna do that now. Just so we can get an idea of how to proceed. We have those emoji panels still open. How many of you are on a Quest right now? Show me some emojis. Raise your hand. Just give me some indication that you're on a Quest. Okay, that's most of you. All right, cool, good. How many of you are brand new to the Quest? Like you just got it recently. Maybe you got it for Christmas, maybe possibly. Okay, that's a lot of you. How many of you were coming from an Oculus Go before you got your Quest? Okay, wow, quite a few. All right, cool. All right, gives me some idea of how I'm doing there. How many of you have tried the hand tracking yet? Anybody tried the tracking yet? Hand tracking? Okay, quite a few. All right, cool. How many of you have tried the Oculus Link yet? All right, a few. All right, cool. I have not tried the hand tracking yet. For some reason, my headset is not updating yet. So if you have tried it and you're still around when we're asking the questions and getting feedback and stuff, tell us about it because I'd like to hear how that went. I want to see hear what that feels like for people who actually have. I have actually recently, this past week, tried the Quest cable, the link cable, and let me tell you something. The link, a lot of portals today. That's cool. Karaoke now, huh? Okay. Well, the Quest cable, the link cable, I tried it this week, and it is absolutely amazing. You'll hook the cable up to your PC, and it actually enables you to have Rift-like experiences. It's a completely different experience. And it's pretty wild too, because when I got my Quest, I thought it was pretty awesome. But it's a lot like, maybe you get a bike, right? And a couple weeks into it, somebody tells you that, hey, in a few days, this is going to turn into a car, because you don't have to buy a new headset or anything like that. All of a sudden, they have the hand tracking, and all of a sudden, I see your hand going up there. We'll be taking questions at the end, okay, Adam? Thanks. But yeah, so it's pretty cool the way they keep adding on to it. All right, now let's see here. Hey Megan, how's it going? Nice to see you. When I first got my, when I was coming from an Oculus Go, right? And I was very focused on getting another hand because when you're on a Go, all you have is the one hand going, right? And I grew up in Brooklyn, so I usually, talk with my hands a lot. So I wasn't feeling like I was expressing myself as fully as I could in Altspace. So I mainly focused on getting that second hand. But it turns out that this is so much more than a hand. All right. These are how you move, like because your hands are also your feet. They're how you interact with your environment. And if here today you already know a little bit about that, you know how like the right thumbstick, will turn you in circles, and the left thumbstick will kind of move you around. And when you combine them, you can do these big elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. Do that now if you can, everybody, like make these big giant circles like this, because when I look out in the crowd like that and I see everybody doing it, it looks like ballroom dance. Everybody kind of, no, there we go. Nice big circles. Let me say, oh, that looks cool. I love watching this. Wish you guys could see what it looks like. Actually, now you can. We got this going out on YouTube now. So if you go to our channel, you can see everybody going around in circles like that. It looks really neat. Okay, so when you first get your Quest, you've got a lot of buttons to deal with. That's a lot of buttons, right? And it can be a lot to take in. You will get used to it in a few days to a couple of weeks. Seeing a lot of hands going up. Okay, is something wrong? Or it's just questions? We will be taking questions and comments at the end. Okay, all right. And just making sure. See another hand there. I'm gonna unmute everybody real quick. Something is wrong. Let me know. Okay, go ahead. Unmute. Let me know what's going on.
I don't see
You're
anything
glitching
wrong.
out, dude. You're
I'm glitching out now. Glitching out now.
Your mic is glitching out.
He's
It's
fine.
glitching out.
Yeah, you're
Who's
fine.
that?
Okay. I'm fine for you.
Me.
All right, you might want to
Michael.
re-enter the space. What'd
Michael,
you
you're
say?
fine. You're fine.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys. All right. One sec. We're going to go back to that mute in there. If you are getting a choppy sound, though, you can re-enter the space under settings and general and re-enter. Okay. So those are a lot of buttons to take in when you first start out on the Quest. You will get used to it very quickly. And if you are used to it already, this can be a lot of fun doing the exercises. But I just want to make sure everybody's real familiar with the controls, especially with all the new Quest users that we have. So let's start out with these. So you've got the right grip button and you've got the left grip button. When you got these two grip buttons, you can interact with your environment, right? So like you can use this to grip fireworks, you can use this to grip sparklers, you can use this to interact with the world editor, right? You can actually use it, the grip button, either control it or move things from side to side. You can even twist your hand like this to get it to spin like that. But if you are using it with the world editor, it's going to change the behavior of your right thumbstick. Your right thumbstick now, when you're interacting with the world editor, if you move the right thumbstick from left to right, you're going to notice that, it changes the scale of the size of the object. If you move the thumbstick up or down from top to bottom, what's going to happen is you're going to be moving the object away from you or pulling it closer to you. All right. So that's good to keep in mind. This other thumbstick also does something else. Well, when I first came into Altspace on my Quest, I went to the campfire, right, just to test it out. And, I was feeling good because, brand new device, right? I felt like I was, kind of a little bit above everybody, right? I felt like I was walking on air. And then I found out why. I looked down and I was this high off the ground, right? I was like totally this high. I just started off the ground. And it turns out that on the Quest, you need to worry about vertical movement. And what that can do is if you're like looking down, you notice that you're floating off the ground, or maybe you're stuck in the ground because it's too short. What you're going to do is if somebody can like stand up a little bit or scooch down, change your vertical height for me. So can you see right here? Perfect. Thank you, Kyle. So if you go down there, show everybody what happens when you press down on your left thumbstick. Bambaka, like press down on the left thumbstick and show everybody what happens. Boom, just like that. That's recentering, right? Like that. How about you, Ian? Just press down on the left thumbstick, show everybody. Boom, just like that. So if you find your vertical height changes, just press down on your left thumbstick, and that'll take care of that. All right, now we have a lot of hands going up again. Okay, all right. Well, if the voice is choppy again, just re-enter. It's a large crowd. That might be what's causing that, and sometimes it will settle out. And we will be taking questions at the end. All right, so, okay, now also we have these, this right select button here, and this right trigger, and this left select button here if you have your left pointer enabled through your main menu. And what this does is if you hold down one of these buttons and don't let go and move your hand through the crowd, you're going to see everybody's name tag appear above their head. That's how I know everybody's name so quickly. Like this cool kid, we've got Kyle over here, we've got Lulu over here, we've got Ian, we've got Megan up on the balcony, and we got Echo in the corner, we got Adam. All right, so that's how you can tell everybody's name real quick. You also have this left trigger here that'll cause you to accelerate. And basically, if you're walking along and you press on the left trigger, all of a sudden you're going to go faster. This also works when you're flying, just like that. And, I'm going to take a quick lap around the room. Everybody can join me if they want. Maybe go through like big circles, get a whirlpool going here. Can everybody do that? Come on, give me some big circles here. Go fast with that left trigger. Let me see what you got. If you're getting dizzy, don't do that thing. But let's see how this looks. Okay. It's not quite a circle. It's more like a little bit of fast chaos, but I like it. Okay, good, cool. All right, now we also have this teleport button right here on your right controller. You also have it on your left controller. I'm hoping you're in a line dash teleport. That's actually a lot of fun. You can set that up in your main menu under input, under settings. You have input and comfort. And what you can do is if everybody lines up along this railing right here, like along this, right along here, form like kind of a line. If you take your right controller and aim at the floor, you're going to see by the window there, you're going to see, and you let go of the teleport button, you're going to zip across the room, just boom, like that. Now you can try this with the left controller. Everybody teleport over toward me, and then you hold down that left controller on the teleport button there, and you'll see the circle appear on the floor. And as you got the circle, as soon as you let go, it's going to zip you across the room like that. Boom. All right, another cool thing that you can do is you can make an X with the teleport circles, right? And you hold down both teleport buttons at the same time, make an X, and put it on the floor. And as soon as you let go, if you let go at the same time, you get this zigzag teleport. I kind of have like that. The first time I used this, I was at the Universe, and back then it was held in this really large world, right? And when the event was over, I went to explore the world, and I walked over to the edge of the world, and I looked off the edge, and I stepped off a little bit too far, and I started to fall, right? And as I'm falling, I look over, and I see there's a cliff. And I held out my arm, and I pressed down on the teleport button, aimed at that cliff, and zipped on over to it before I could respawn. And in this moment, I knew, right, that, I was finally getting used to the controls. There's going to come a moment where, and you'll still feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a moment where these actually feel like your real hands. All right. You're not going to have to think about, what button to push. If I say, hey, look at the glass over there, I don't think when I'm pointing, I just do it, so see a lot of frowns and hands going up here. All right. I'm going to unmute again. All right. Let's see. All right. Is something going on? Is something wrong? I've seen a lot of hands.
Yo.
What's up?
Hi.
What's up?
Hello?
I have a question.
What's the question? We're taking questions at the end, Eddie. All right. What's wrong?
So you're not gonna answer my question, bro?
Really? Wow. Okay. Go ahead, that campfire. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute everything.
I can't tell.
Okay. We will take care of that in a moment. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. That was fun. Okay. Right. Wow. All right. Okay. So what else do we have here? So we did the teleport exercise there, and we did there's something else you need to know. Okay. Let's see. Now there's another button here, right? Now, when you're having a room scale experience, if you step out past your main menu, right? And somebody always says, hey, open your main menu when that happens, right? And you're going to be looking around for your main menu, wanting to know where it is. And that can get kind of annoying. On a Quest, it's important to remember that you always have the main menu in your hands at all times. All right. So if you press on the left control, this flat button that's right there toward the bottom, that's going to open up your main menu. And 1 second here. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of these hands popping up here. Okay. And this is, all right. I'm unmuting you again. This is there a problem? My audio's okay?
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what they're.
What's going on, Lenny?
Oculus Go. So I
Okay.
have these controllers.
Same thing.
Okay.
same
Well,
thing.
there is an event called Go Time you might want to check out.
I only have one
Is there-
controller.
Okay, hang on, guys. I'm gonna mute again. Okay, we will be taking questions at the end. 1 second here. Okay, all right. Again, the hand raising, that's not to ask questions, so it's just to get my attention, which is working. Okay, so let's see here. So this is your main menu button. If you press on that, it'll open and close your menu. There's another button you need to be concerned about for when stuff goes wrong. All right. Also, when you need to leave Altspace in a hurry, like, maybe somebody comes in and say your dinner's ready, you need to get out of Altspace in a hurry. What you can do is, and don't do this now because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it. But you press this left flat button here on the right controller, or rather, I said left, on the right controller, you've got this flat button here. That's going to actually take you out of Altspace to the Oculus main menu. And once you're there, you'll have a choice to quit or resume. If you press quit, then the app will completely close. And this is good to know for when things go wrong. Because occasionally you're going to notice when you're in Altspace, right? You're going to move your head, for example, and when you move your head to the right, the whole world's going to move with you. This can make you feel kind of sick. It can make you feel kind of dizzy. So it pays to know how to close the app quickly. So if you press on that flat button on the right controller, your app will close, and then you can just restart the app, and that should usually take care of most things. There are going to be times, though, when you press that button and nothing happens. So like you'll look up and you'll see this black void, and you'll look to the right, you'll see a black void, and you look to the left, you see a black void. You see basically around all the edges of the screen, and it basically means that your device is frozen. You're going to need to restart it. Now, it pays to know how to restart your device while it's still on your head, right? Because if you are, if you take the device off your head to restart it, well, what can happen is you're going to, we're seeing a lot of frowns. This is okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right. So it pays to know how to restart the device when you're on your head, or when it's on your head. So like you have the button on the side, you take your index finger and you swipe it up and down, right? The front of the device there on the side there, and you're going to feel that bump. And when you press that bump, right, it's a power button. You hold that down for about 4 seconds. After about 4 seconds, what's going to happen is your device is going to shut off, but don't take your finger off the button. Just leave it there. All right. And, about 10 seconds going to go by. And you're going to start to wonder, why did Oculus make restarting your headset take so long, right? And about 15 seconds will go by. And in about 15 seconds, you've got, you start thinking about, friends you haven't seen in a long time. You wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds, you start thinking about that dog you had when you were little. You start thinking about life, After about 23 seconds, you're going to hear a beep. And then after that beep, you're going to just pull your finger up off the button, right? You'll see the Oculus logo and your device will restart normally. All right, it's the easiest thing in the world because if you do it when it's off your head, sometimes it could be not in a charge cycle and you won't see the light go on when you plug it in, right? And you might think your device is broken because it takes so long to restart. So it's always good if you're going to restart your device to do it while it's on your head still. All right, it's a very good method to do. You also have another option when things go wrong, and be warned though, this is only to be used in an extreme emergency. It's called the factory reset, and this basically wipes your device clean and makes it the way it was when you first got it, but you're going to lose any pictures or any forward progress in other apps. And but it's good to know that you have it as an option. Okay, now you also have the Guardian system, and if you took the tour, you dance with the robot, you put that blimp and all that stuff. So you're familiar with the Guardian system, but you may not be familiar with how to use it to your advantage in Altspace. All right. First off, if you experience dizziness in VR, right, one thing you can do is you can look at your hand, right, just stare at your hand until you settle out, and then once you start to feel a little bit more even, you take your hand down slowly and you take in the world around you. Right. But there's another thing you can do. And I like to say, when you mess with your Guardian, be very careful, right? To because you'll see in Altspace, somebody will be walking along, right? And all of a sudden they'll go like this because they just hit the wall in the real world. That can't feel good, right? So what happens is, you lead with your hands and, be careful because you don't want to hurt yourself or damage your equipment. And you go up to the edge of your Guardian. And when you do, you're going to see that grid appear in the air in front of you, right? But you can still touch your thumbstick. So you can still move around in VR, right? So I'm still touching my real world wall here. Right, and then I go up to this display like this, right, or any object will do, really, so because this is like long and straight here. And what'll happen is now I'm kind of like locked onto my real world wall. I've got an anchor to the real world. So if I dive out into the audience, right, and the audience goes crazy and comes at me, like, seek some revenge, kind of makes me dizzy, crowd around me, yeah, there we go. And we start making me dizzy, right? Start swinging at me, kind of messing with me, right? Yeah, come on, get it all out, take it all in, there we go. All right, you see, as long as I look at that display right now, I can't get to see because I know that's my real world wall, and you can try to block my eyes. It's kind of working, but not really because I can still see the display. Yeah, it's not working at all. Probably feels good though. All right, cool. All right, yeah. So what you can do is this will actually prevent you from getting dizzy to a large degree, and it pays to have like an anchor in the real world like that. There's another thing you can do is you can transition between a standing experience and a seating experience pretty effortlessly when you're on a Quest without actually ever leaving Altspace. Right. So, basically, if you walk up to your Guardian like this, right, and you touch out and you see the grid appear in front of you, you make sure you got enough room to stick your head through. When you stick your head through, you get the real world comes into view with the pass through. You can have a sip of coffee, and then you look it over there, and I see my chair is there, so I can go over and I can go sit in my chair. And as soon as I press the blue button to say that I want to have a stationary experience, what's going to happen is Altspace is going to come back into view. And you know what? I never left Altspace at all. All anybody ever saw was my hand sitting still with my avatar frozen because I was having what I like to call an out of avatar experience. And, and I went and I got in a chair. And the only difference is my avatar is going to be down low. And then if I press down on the left thumbstick, I'm going to pop right back up and it'll be like I never left. Right. This works in the other direction too. I was moderating an event once and I felt like getting up and walking around, which is a big deal for me. Right. So I got up and I thought I was just going to walk right into my Guardian. But on Quest, occasionally your Quest is going to lose your Guardian every now and then, and you're going to have to redraw it. So I was like, oh no, because I was moderating at the time, right? And I figured, oh, the host is going to be upset, and I'm going to have to find him, tell him why I flaked, and I'm drawing my Guardian, and I don't understand why my play area is so big, I'm going to get a smaller play space or something, and I'm drawing it out, and as I'm drawing it, I come to the end and I close that loop and the grid pops up out of the ground. You know what? I'm still in Altspace. I never left. So you're going to be able to go back and forth as you like, and, whatever's comfortable for you, without ever leaving Altspace. Your avatar just stays behind, like you just toss it off and it's all kind of frozen there. Another thing you can do that's a lot of fun, but really actually completely useless, is you can go up to the edge of your Guardian, right? And as you stick your head through it, you see the pass through, you can see the real world, right? Don't do this too close to a wall. Always check your hands first. You don't want to, hurt yourself. All right, thumbs up. Good, you got that. Cool. So you stick your head through the wall, through the wall. Listen to me. You stick your head through the pass through, and you're looking at the real world, right? If you do this really slowly, what's going to happen is you're going to see both realities at the same time, and it's a lot of fun to see avatars in your home space, in your real home space, right, in your home environment. So what's going to happen is like you'll get a sense for how tall avatars actually are. You'll see that like most avatars are about like 6 feet in the real world. And it's kind of cool to see the avatars of your friends like in your real world environment. It's kind of like, it's sort of like augmented reality, but you're kind of like forcing this. So you find that little sweet spot there. The great thing about the Quest is it just works. Now, there's a lot of, there's really aren't many problems with it at all, but it doesn't mean that it can't work better. All right. Now, when I first got my Quest, I ordered those earbuds with it, but I had to wait a month for them to arrive. And as I was waiting, I got used to how great the sound is on Quest. There's no feedback. There's, really, the audio is just really great. And when I got the earbuds that came and, they kind of dangle down. I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think, because these are like kind of like earrings for your headset. I like to think I look fancy. I do. Right. And I put these on. And when I went to the campfire, check them out. And, in the campfire, did you guys know that there's like a breeze in the campfire? I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. I've been in Altspace for like 10 months and I wasn't aware of that. I went up to the railing there and I actually could hear the water rushing from the river. It turns out there's a lot of ambient sound in Altspace that can make it way more immersive. So the earbuds are a great thing to try. Now, this other thing you have is these space inserts. Now, I hear a lot of people say that the Quest is uncomfortable. Now, I have these like high cheekbones, right? So I had the top of the headset pushing into the top of my head. And I developed a kind of like a sore when I first got my Quest. And, when it was sitting there and kept coming into Altspace, I didn't stop, and it kept getting worse. And then I was hosting Altspace VR 101. If any of you ever seen me doing it before, I was getting up to the part where I was talking about how Michael Forrest knows too much about Altspace and it needs to be stopped, right? I was getting to that part, and all of a sudden I feel moisture inside my headset. It was really weird. I'm wondering what it is, but I kept going, trained professional like that. I know what you're thinking. It wasn't sweat because Michael Forrest doesn't sweat ever. So it wasn't that. So I didn't know what it was, but I kept on going. I finished out the event. My wife comes in the room. They ask me, how it went. Cool like that. Right. And I lift up the headset and I went, well, and she says, wait, she says, go look in the mirror. And she did it in that voice, where you pretty much have to. So I get up and I go over to the mirror. I'm going to use the speaker as a mirror. I look in the mirror and you know what I saw? I saw these 2 rings around my eyes because it turns out that sore on my forehead that I got from my Quest, right? It turns out I was actually bleeding into my headset. I know it's gross. I know it's disgusting. I cleaned it up real good, right? But it told me I needed to do something about it. But I did get a cool story about it, right? I did get it to go around. For a week, I walked around going, I bled for you, Altspace. That's right, Altspace. I bled for you. Real dramatic, right? I'd hold my fist up like this and go, Altspace, I bled for you, like that, And no, okay, but yeah, that's what I did for a while. So I knew I had to do something about that. So I found a company called VR Cover, and they make these inserts. One is if you have light bleed, you can light bleeding in, not that bleed, but the light bleeding in through the edges, you can use that. I got the cloth one because it comes with 2 of them, so you could be cleaning one while the other one's in use. It's real comfortable, feels like your face is in a pillow, right? And it took about a week about a week for it to arrive because it was coming from Thailand, right? And so while I was waiting for it to arrive, I found out that the oils in your face actually soften the material in your headset. Right. And so it becomes more comfortable the more you use it. There's a breaking in period. It's not like if you were a little kid and you had to play with a baseball glove and you had to oil it up first to condition the leather. Right. You've done that. Right. Well, it's the same idea. Now, if you get the urge to modify your headset with one of those battery packs you can put on the back of it or a counterbalance, don't do that until you broke it in your headset. Because if you alter it now, then when it's broken in, the balance is going to change again. And you're going to be one of those people who thinks that the Quest is uncomfortable. Trust me, there's going to come a point in time where you can't feel it on your face at all. You're just going to be here in VR. All right. So in the beginning, when it's a little uncomfortable, just take it off and don't push it. But I knew somebody that actually returned the Quest because of this. And, it's a shame, too, because it's a great device. And if they had stuck it out, well, it would have become more and more comfortable. You got to give the headset time to get to know you and you time to get to know it. So, give it time and you'll get used to it. You also have these prescription inserts that if you wear glasses, they can protect your lenses of both your glasses and your headset. And speaking of protecting your headset, you have this Oculus travel case. The box of the Quest that comes in is fantastic. if you travel or move around a lot, you're going to need to use like one of these travel cases because, like let's say you leave your Quest outside, right? And while your Quest is out, not outside by a window, and the sunlight's coming in and it touches the lenses, that can damage your device, right? And if something happens to your device, it's not like losing a toaster, right? It's not like, if, your toaster breaks, you got to replace it or something like that. Right? I've seen people who the more time you spend in Altspace and the friendships that you make, so if something happens to your device, you're going to experience that as an actual loss. So it pays to protect your equipment if you can. All right. If you want to try any of these products, you can find them at altvr.com. If you go right next to where it says events, you'll see the word channels. You'll see our event channels on the second page. It says Ravenhall, like Ravenhall events, like it says on the balcony up there. And if you click on that, you'll see all these products on the left-hand side that you can try. You'll also see the join Discord button. You can join our Discord and help us with events like this if you like. And you'll also see the very, very major important button on the top that says subscribe. We don't get paid to do this, right? But every time that number goes up, we get to feel good and it lets Altspace know how we're doing. So if you can press that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to us. All right, now we are going to be taking your questions now. So what we're going to do here is we are going to make a raise hand button appear as if by magic in your lower right now. Up right there. Okay. So now if you press that button, you're going to get on my list. I'm going to call on you. I'm going to get to feel like a radio host because I'm going to get to, say you're on the air. You only need to press it once though. So you just press that one time. And if you have any questions or comments, maybe you tried an accessory that you'd like to tell us about. Maybe you've tried the hand tracking. You want to tell us about that. Let's see. We have some people on the list already. Let's see who we have. We have Adam. Adam, you're on the air. What do you got, Adam? Adam, where are you, Adam? There you are. Oh, you just muted yourself again. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Try this again. You don't have to press the button again, just one time. There you go.
Okay, so the first slide, was there an actual avatar like that?
An actual avatar on the first slide?
Yeah.
Which slide are you talking about?
Not like the robots, but the actual human beings.
Let's say.
Oh, wait,
Let's say.
This slide? That first slide. The human beings, like the humans.
Actually, this one, the green one in the back there, I know one that looks like that. That looks like Henry, right? Doesn't it, Megan? Looks a lot like Henry, I think. This blue one, no idea where that came from. I was feeling blue that day, and I kind of went with it. So those two avatars you can. I don't think there's any like a princess or queen type avatars, and this one, I don't know.
Was it an original thought though? Was it a thought though?
Wait, say this again?
Like, did someone think that? Did someone think that?
Could somebody think that?
Yeah, and if they...
Well, I don't think the human avatars are that detailed. This was more just like the show of VR, in different ways, So okay, that's where the art comes in, But yeah, so it's not really like kind of a literal thing. All right, let's see if we have anyone else. Let's see who we have here. Let's see. We have Lulu. Lulu, you have a question? Hey, Lulu. No? Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Anybody else here? We have Ian. Where are you, Ian?
Hello. Right here.
Hey, Ian. How's it going? What's up?
So I basically just have a comment about the basically the whole headset digging into your forehead or whatever.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about yesterday getting the battery pack to even out the weight or whatever, but now what you told all of us, I know.
The battery pack, listen, the battery pack is not a bad idea, and any of the modification stuff that you can get, like the counterbelts, is not a bad idea. The only thing I would say is wait at least a couple of weeks of use, just to see how it balances out. Because if you change the weight now, you're going to be going through 2 weeks from now, you're going to be like, oh man, it's uncomfortable again. Because it's going to change gradually the more you use it. So break it in for about, a couple of weeks and then order the external battery pack because you'll have a much better idea how it fits.
And even just using this for 2 days now, I can already tell it's way more comfortable than it was on the first day.
Yeah, it takes a while. Like the first few times you use it, it is agony, right? It's just not comfortable at all.
Mm-hmm.
Very
especially
top
when
heavy.
super hard.
But the more you use it, it finds. I don't know. It's sort of like a getting to know you process for both you and the headset. And it's just a breaking in period. All right, now before we head out, I want to show you guys one more thing. This is a flight tool. All right, you may or may not have seen this, some people holding these around Altspace. Usually at the end of our events, we take everybody flying at the Ravenhall Flight Academy. And, today's a little different, but what is different is if you want to learn how to use this flight tool, just let me know and I'll show you. And basically you draw little lines in the air with it and it'll move you slowly in that direction. But if you draw long lines, it moves you very quickly. And I see people are still looking up there. Do they really move that quick? This guy's looking up there. It's like, where'd he go? And I'm already back on the stage. All right, so here we go. So if you want to learn that, we absolutely can. Now, before we head out, also, I'd like to ask you to share what you've learned. That's kind of how we keep this thing going. So if you go into the campfire, right, and you see some avatar and he's like this tall, and you look over and you go, "What's wrong, little buddy?" And they look back at you and they go, "I'm on a quest and I'm stuck in the ground." What you want to do, right, is you just look down and say, "Hey, just press on your left thumbstick." When you press on that left thumbstick, they'll pop up. They'll feel good. You'll feel good. And that's kind of how we keep this Altspace thing going. All right, let's see. I just got a weird text that said Norman. Oh, wow, it's Norman. Hang on a second, everybody. It's a friend of mine. How's it going, Norman? Nice to see you. Been a long time. All right. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to come back up here. Now, if you want to come fly with us, what we're going to do is, I don't want to thank you all for joining us today, but what we're going to do is we're going to go up this ramp into the blue load screen light, into the load screen, come out of the academy. But we're going to do it to music, so let me see your best moves, okay? Everybody, let's see. Here we go. And my music's not working either. My slides are a mess today. It's still not working? Really? There we go. All right, everybody. All right, into the blue load screen light. Let's go. Gotta move. Gotta show me move. Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody.